According to MAGA, we were moments away from the greatest political scandal being exposed in history. And then the thing they had been asking for happened. And, well, it didn't go the way that they were hoping. You might remember that Donald Trump has been screaming about, bringing up constantly, the idea that CBS, the false, ridiculous idea, I should note, that CBS committed political election interference by, wait for it, editing Kamala Harris's 60 Minutes interview. Like every 60 Minutes interview has been edited since the beginning of 60 Minutes interviews, okay? That's what they do, because even the name of the show demonstrates, if you have multiple subjects, this was their election special, so they had different things going on within the hour or 60 minutes that the show would play. You then do a full interview with the candidate, and then you pick out the parts that you think will be most relevant for the show. That's what they did with Trump. Whenever they did his 60 Minutes interview, he didn't do this round because he was too scared to do it. But anyways, he's been making these claims to justify, he wants to take CBS off the air. And so, as we always talk about, you need a justification when you do something authoritarian like that. So his justification became, they did something wrong with the Kamala Harris interview. Now, because he brought a lawsuit against CBS, they went ahead and released the footage. I'll show you Trump's reaction, but first, I sent out a post. I said, MAGA was out there screaming, release the full Kamala CBS interview, it will reveal a bombshell. CBS goes, okay, here it is. MAGA, silence. They're not so hyped now that it didn't reveal what they were hoping. I don't know what they thought it was going to reveal. They had created a whole fictional world to live in. Before getting to Trump's reaction, let's look at some of this raw footage. Again, taking out any edits and just we clicked record and this is what we had on the Kamala Harris camera angle. If you appreciate the show, please do click the subscribe button.
Okay, and then you know that mold is at an all-time high today, which is the one thing I am allergic to. Okay. Pollen is down. Mold is up. You know, I know that as a matter of fact, because I was watching CBS this morning, and they have the little streaming.
Gosh, she thinks it's so funny. She thinks she's so special. Is that what this is? You think it's so funny. You think you hearing me, Kamala? You're so special because you have allergies. Well, I bet Trump doesn't. Hey, why are you laughing? That's how I imagine they respond.
Now that I think about it. Indeed.
See you, Chris? I'm going to just snap it once.
Why are you sniffing like that? What are you doing, cocaine? What are you doing, cocaine, Kamala? You breathing in your nose and you have the sniffles? What is this, Morse code? To the Russians? Wait, no, we like the Russians. To the Ukrainians? Is that what this is? Cocaine? That's how I imagine they would respond.
Good? Yep. Coming around. Don?
Yeah.
Got it on both?
Okay, so we need to clear the background.
Good, Don?
Yes.
Thank you, Tim.
No problem. Just do what you need to do.
Why is she touching your hair? Is she putting an earpiece in your ear so that you can be fed your lines because you speak so eloquent? I mean, no, because you speak badly. Wait, but the only way you could speak that way is if you had an earpiece like you did in the debate with your earring that wasn't in your ear, but somehow it was still feeding you lines, and that's how you did so good. I mean, you did bad. I mean, you did That's how I imagine they would respond.
We're all perfectly happy?
Everybody happy?
Looks good.
Looks great. Good?
I'm good.
All right. Well, Madam Vice President, one, thank you for doing this.
Of course.
And thank you for inviting us into your home.
Of course.
We're going to be running this on the anniversary of the Hamas attack on.
Yeah.
What, are you just going to sit there? You're just going to sit there and listen while someone else talks? You're so calm because you're on cocaine, Kamala? Wait, no, because you're on weed. Are you doing weed, Kamala? Oh, no. I don't know what it would feel like to be them. They were wanting something so bad, and then it's just her being breaking news a person.
On Israel.
October 7th.
So let's just start with this.
Hang on 1 second, Bill. Sorry, we had someone in the background. I'm afraid you're gonna have to re-ask that.
Okay, whoever's in the dining room.
It was me.
Okay.
So yeah, just start with Israel.
Okay.
And then they get into it, and it's 53 minutes, so we will watch that. But if we can remember, but you can also just search it up if we forget, but I'll try to remember to put this link in the description. Make a note, Jaden, if you would. And you can watch the whole thing yourself. And I'll tell you what a fair criticism would have been. But this was election interference when they edited it in the most normal way imaginable, which is if a politician gives a really long answer and you need to squeeze it, sometimes you just pick out, all right, here's a part of the answer we can use. Just like they did with Trump's. That's why there's all these cuts in interviews like this, because they're edited to make it more of a pleasurable viewing experience. Okay? But Trump is continuing forward with his authoritarian promise to target them, or at least declaration that they should be targeted. He won too. Listen to what he says, because it's crazy given that he won this stupid election. CBS and 60 Minutes defrauded the public by doing something which has never to this extent been seen before. They 100% removed Kamala's horrible election-changing answers. Is he suggesting that she would have won if they hadn't done that? Because that's what election-changing means. To the questions, and replaced them with completely different and far better answers taken from another part of the interview. This was election-changing stuff, election interference, and quite simply, election fraud at a level never seen before. CBS should lose its license, and the cheaters at 60 Minutes should all be thrown out, and this disreputable news show should be immediately terminated. With the new Democrat scandal that just arose with respect to USAID illegally paying a large sums of money to Politico and other media outlets, the question must be asked, was CBS paid for committing this fraud? Many other questions to come. This will go down as the biggest broadcasting scandal in history. Still not understanding which words you're supposed to capitalize the first letter of, but we'll let that pass so that we can focus on the authoritarianism. So him saying they should be taken off the air because he didn't like their coverage. That's it. Don't even... Sometimes I'll see people in the media and they'll start analyzing his claims. What does he mean? What did CBS... Go watch it. It's an interview. I mean, it's just an interview. And then, just like his interviews, you edit it. And there's no deception. There's no change of her message. There's none of it. And the weird thing is, and I made this point more before the election, but they're kind of just complimenting her when they do this. That in my, sort of being silly, imitating a MAGA person watching that Kamala interview, I brought up the earpiece thing. There was a real cohort of Trump supporters who thought that in the debate, she had an earpiece in. To which you would respond, you thought she did that good that she would have to have been being fed lines? Which, by the way, that's so dumb. I've said it before, but anytime Jaden talks in my earpiece here, I get so disoriented. It would be so hard for him to talk. And also, how is that simpler than just memorizing good things to say and then walking out on stage and saying them when a certain topic comes up? I don't know. It's absurd. And when you saw her ear, there was nothing in it, as if I need to fact check that. But with this too, they say it made her look so much better. So you thought she came off well in the interview? No, she came off terribly, but she would have come off worse. I don't know. But all silliness aside, this is tragic and frightening. In one of my appearances on the Tim Pool program, I tried to explain why a party that screams so much about censorship of the other side, right? The left is pro-censorship. seems to be really okay with censorship when it's Donnie T proposing it.
Right. You were a pariah in society.
Yeah, okay.
And you see
Let
that
me
in your
jump
comment section about me. Like,
so, first off, political violence of any kind, if you're saying that someone attacks your car or something because there's a MAGA sticker, that's insane. They shouldn't do that. It is important to remember that the data show that right-wing political violence is far more
fake data.
Hold on, I want
political violence. Well, I'm just going to finish the point. She went for a while there. And then, you bring up January 6th. That's an instance of political violence. But what you need to understand about something I've explained to Isabel before is that to understand our political analysis of two different relevant, prominent leaders, you have to at least limit it for some logical discussions to the leaders we're talking about, not vibes and abstract perceptions of an entire side. Because on any side, people will do crazy
but
stuff.
abstract
But in the case of
perceptions, like look at
in
the
case-
BLM
in the
riots
case
for
of-
months. Like
in
that's
the case of
it's largely left-wing
in the-
activists.
yeah, right.
How come
and,
it's that
and
base?
Democrats believed that if you committed crimes, you should be held accountable for
That's
them.
not true.
They
Unlike
were
Trump
bailing them out.
actually
Kamala
thinking-
It's not true.
herself.
Yeah, it's not true. Unlike Trump actually wanting to pardon people who were violent on January 6th. But I will say,
They should, all of
in
them.
the case of Trump, I'm all for protecting free speech. Y'all will sometimes mix up social media censorship, which if you have a platform, you're on the platform and you have terms of service, we can debate
the
about
town square
what
now.
those terms of service should be, but that's not the same as government infringement.
But
the government did infringe,
right?
The
And I'm
FBI
just going
did
to
have.
complete my point really quickly. We can address that.
It's
'cause I know
already
traffic
getting
going.
heated. Not even 5 minutes in.
No. And then finally, I've never heard Vice President Harris advocate for censorship, whereas Trump literally said the government should come down hard on MSNBC. That's your leader of your movement, not just some random person out on social media.
Which I disagree with that, by the way.
There you go. And then at least she admits she disagrees with that. But there I lay out what is usually the game that gets played. So you have some lefty person, right? We'll call them, no, we won't give them a name. Just some lefty person out there who on social media goes, yeah, ban someone, woo-wee. And the right thinks that's censorship often. So then they feel like the left wants to censor, but they misunderstand, which is what I was trying to explain there, the difference between something you can have an issue with. You can be unhappy with how a social media platform is being regulated, but it's the company's choice how to do so, as long as they're not breaking certain laws. And so that's not the government infringing on free speech. Okay, we've done that and gone through it many, many times. But their vibe about the left, maybe because of that, maybe because of fake stories, then makes many of them, at least Isabella is saying she's not one of them, but a lot of them go, it's fine for Trump to want to do what he does as president against social media platforms. Or I should more specifically say against media, against outlets, but I'm sure social media as well, like CBS, because that's what the left does. So it's self-defense, but no, it's not though. It would have been the only story on Fox News for 3 decades if Biden had said, I want to get Fox News off the air. Can you imagine? At one point, a Democrat said something like, Fox News should, like Rupert Murdoch should not have Tucker Carlson on the air or something. Some Democratic politician said that. And it was, oh my gosh, they're going after Fox. Wait. First of all, I'm always really mindful of even saying that so that they can't make such a false equivalency. But in that case, I think it may have been Schumer. You have someone just publicly saying the leader of that company should do something. And they say that's advocacy for censorship. But then they go, yeah, let's shut down these platforms. The come down hard quote on MSNBC, him absolutely broadcasting his intention to target CBS, and all because he's lying. He's lying about a Kamala Harris interview. Because I guess he was insecure. Now, if you are a reasonable person and you watch as you can that full raw footage, what would you learn? Well, number one, you'd learn that she had allergies. No. But number two, there were moments when I was watching that were definitely, even in the moments that were included, this was some of the stuff that we saw during the campaign that was not ideal, sort of feeling like she was stuck in a talking point and not being able to come off more, I'm speaking in the moment, I can engage with your question, not just go right back to a talking point. Or the criticism being like word salad type stuff, a little bit too robotic in certain answers. Those are all political criticisms that I think are fair. And I wish she could have done better, and I don't think that would have made the difference in the election, but it would have been nice for her to be able to be a little bit more comfortable in certain areas and just chatting and coming off more relatable and also giving more succinct answers at times. Fine. But I don't really, one of the reasons you don't hear me spending a ton of time, like if a Trump supporter brought that up to me, wanting to engage with it, is because I can only have such good faith conversations with people who are willing to have it with me. And if you are showing yourself you don't care about what Trump's saying, why he's saying, you just like that he's saying we're going to get CBS off the air. Because if CBS editing an interview with a presidential candidate meant that they should be off the air, then they should have been off the air when they first started doing interviews with presidential candidates. There's no law that's being violated. There's nothing. This would be the greatest attack on free speech in a really, really long time. And so while there's this assault going on, am I really going to go, oh, but great point, MAGA. I do wish she had more succinct answers. No, that's ridiculous. We'll have that conversation among good faith people, but really? You expect from us often, so often, a level of goodwill and good faith. And then I extend my arm out to you. I hold it out. I say, please touch my finger. And you chop off my arm. You can't chop off my arm and then ask for my other arm. And that's what it is. And so the important story here, I don't care about anything in this discussion until you admit that Trump wants to wage war on free speech when he talks about getting these different outlets off the air, calling them criminals. And now he's president. And the very people that he has put in power could and can and potentially will do it. And then, by the way, with CBS, this lawsuit, Paramount, the parent company of CBS, is considering settling it, paying money to Trump directly because there's a merger going on. And Trump's FCC chair, who could obstruct that merger, has said because of this CBS interview and Trump's lies about it, he would go after and harm Paramount and try to obstruct such a business deal, not because he has a fear of monopolization or whatever, but because he wants to hurt Paramount for Trump's fees being hurt. So it's happening already. That's why CBS is even going as far as being forced to release footage. You don't have to release footage. It's good they did because it disproved MAGA and it was a little embarrassing for them. But as a principle, you shouldn't have to release footage. There's no crime. There's no investigation going on that would necessitate law enforcement getting access to this. It's just you capitulating because you're scared of Trump. For good reason, you're scared. And this is an anti-free speech, anti-constitutional principle we're seeing in Trump. And he's not stopping, and it's terrifying. Share your thoughts in the comments. If you want to support this show, I'm really putting a lot of brand in your face today. No, I'm kidding. You can do it by clicking the join button below.